What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have Mackenzie back on the pod.
Hi.
I'm excited to have you on this pod.
It's a pleasure to return.
And you belong here.
Thank you.
Of course.
I never felt like I belonged anywhere more than this couch.
And that's music to my ears. I was just thinking the other day because James recently asked if he could call you Mac, and you said no. And I have to actually rewrite that in my brain too.
So here, I make certain exceptions for people.
Fair.
For the people I love and care about. But overarchingly,
that's a
absolutely
no.
not.
So for the fans back home, keep that one to yourself.
Yeah. So to all of you who've been calling me Mac,
literally,
you gotta stop.
You gotta cut that shit out.
So it's basically just because people ask me, they're like, oh, Mackenzie, Kenzie, all of those are fine.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't care.
Totally.
I just had a boss when I was 15 and worked in this bougie grocery store, and this guy called me Mac in a way that sounded so derogatory. It wasn't even funny.
100%.
He'd be like, Mac, you didn't stock the shelves, and I'd be like, and so it just brings back a lot of visceral. I also think
trauma.
I think it makes me sound like a long haul trucker, and. And
because
I just
of the Mac trucks.
Because of the Mac trucks, because I picture like Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It gives very masculine,
sure,
sort of bench pressing vibes. And I love that energy for people. It's not my personal energy.
And that is so fair.
But yeah, no, it is always it's a little bit, and James will call me Mac, and I'll just be
because I feel like he does it to your face for sure. I feel like I don't ever call you Mac to your face, but maybe I do. I don't know.
It's not like I'll be so, but he will be like, "What up, Mac?" And I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
right. You're like, please stop.
It's not. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the straw that broke the camel's back.
So fair.
But yeah, no, it is not my preferred title.
And that is so reasonable.
I would prefer not to be perceived at all, if I'm being honest.
No, I feel that way too. Well, it's actually really funny because when I think about nicknames, because my full name is Samantha. Nobody really calls me that. James actually does, but he doesn't say my name out loud to me really ever.
I feel yeah, he'll be like, oh yeah, I was just Samantha. And I'm like, who?
Literally, who's that?
God.
And
so formal. It's like Bridgerton. I'm like, ah.
No, literally.
Samantha.
And I was very much Samantha in elementary school because there were a bunch of other Sams. Most of them were boys. Sam K, Sam C, Sam S.
Sure.
It was totally like this. So I went by Samantha then. And then I feel like it wasn't honestly... I mean, and maybe my mom called me Sam, but pretty much everyone else called me Samantha. And then it wasn't until high school that my friends had started calling me Sam again, but as a joke.
Yeah.
But then it kind of stuck. And now I introduce myself as Sam.
Yeah, now you're just why, what's in a name?
No,
it's at this point, it's I mean, I'm one to talk, the whole Mac of it all, I should probably just get over it. I should probably just get over it. I should be glad that people are talking to me at all.
Totally.
I should just be like, hey, I'm glad to get.
What a blessing.
What an actual blessing to want to chat.
Well, and it is actually hilarious that it kind of does just take one person to ruin a good thing. If somebody calls you a name and they're saying it in a derogatory way.
Oh, if I hear one song and my day's going wrong, I am
100%.
Well, I guess we're never listening to the Beatles again.
We're completely screwed.
I guess they're done. They're over. Someone call Paul and tell him it's over.
Seriously.
His whole career down the tubes because I was having a bad time at the grocery store, and then I heard Let It Be, and now it's over.
Honestly, and that will happen.
Sorry to cancel your whole catalog out of the blue on a Thursday.
And I'm famously always having a bad time at the grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't been going.
That's the secret.
I haven't been going. So there's, I mean, and I love to cook, and James was so nice and made us dinner, but
love that man.
I do feel there is this element of cooking is something that I get to do when everything else is done.
Yeah.
And it's just my fridge right now has a big thing of kimchi and
respect
one Truly seltzer, and it's kind of
okay, so that's breakfast tomorrow.
It's totally. Or it's I saw something the other day that's pickleback shot.
Yes,
it's that, but instead of a shot of pickle juice, it's a shot of kimchi juice.
Oh my god,
which I'm personally really in love with kimchi. I know that it's maybe an acquired taste for other people.
No, I love it.
I really want to try it. I think that might be at the function.
Damn, that'd be crazy.
I roll up with a bottle of tequila.
Talk about a chase. Delish.
That is the chase. Yeah,
I do feel that would cut maybe everything. I think you'd be
well,
all
and that's
set.
the TikTok I saw. The guy who did it was yeah, you're fine. Like you're 100% okay.
That's dope.
And I was kind of like, you do have to bring a thing of kimchi juice around with you.
So true.
Or have kimchi at the ready, which is, I mean, great problem to have.
Right. A little kimchi on the go.
I can't imagine like reaching into my little purse and just being like, it's a whole jar of kimchi.
Totally.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, no, I'm all into alternative ways to make alcohol.
Oh, I know.
Not hurt as much.
I will say, I feel like in the very futuristic year of 2024, it seems like we should have found a way to make it not taste so bad.
I think the answer is not doing shots.
I mean, so true.
I've kind of, I think I've come around to the fact that is not good for you.
No,
it's all fun and games when you're at the club and everyone's like, oh my God. And
right.
then it's like,
someone has the grand idea.
Everyone's like, oh my God, what if we were bad? It's always like, should we be bad?
Oh my God, I know. That is totally how it is.
And it's like, no, you probably shouldn't be. Like,
no, you should be a good girl.
You have an 8 a.m. meeting. Like,
it always feels better to behave. Yeah.
Like, not even to behave, but just to like listen to your goddamn liver.
No,
like oh my God.
Your body's begging.
Like you're already, like I find that people do shots when they are normally like 4 to 5 drinks in. And they're like,
I mean, that is the only time that I ever think it's even a good idea.
No, because you're delusional.
Yeah.
Because your frontal cortex is swimming.
100%.
It's literally pickled. So yeah, I think that's been a good rule of thumb for me, is like just being like, no, I don't want to do a shot. Like,
my problem is I don't know the word no. I don't really use it. It's not in my vocabulary. Totally. I need to learn how.
Totally. And once you're out, you're out.
Oh my God, I
which
know
is
it's a disease.
Which is very, I feel like we've been out together. So
yes.
like, yeah. And once we're out,
dangerous
we're
game.
Like,
I know.
Well, because it's like, part of it's the outfit.
Yeah.
Part of it's like,
if I'm putting that much time and energy into my look,
like,
the world has to see.
It's like, I got dressed.
Yeah.
It's I got dressed, and if I'm only going to one bar, what's the point?
No, literally. I'd be doing a disservice to the general public.
It's community service is what it is.
Honestly.
If you're going to serve a look, you have to serve it as far and wide as possible.
So true. We have to spread the good word.
And then it's like also just like you're out. Like, I don't know, like what's the point? Like going home is like.
I know. What's there?
You're always
just
home.
Same old stuff.
Like, it's like when people are like, oh, it's like your mom's like, oh no, we have McDonald's at home. It's like, no, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
There's no McDonald's at home.
I'm at the club.
Yeah.
I'm at the club. There's no club at home.
They don't make it like this at home.
They don't. This espresso martini is $17.
Oh my God, that was insane. I will say we did hit our quarterly club quota.
Which I'm so, honestly, we start working on Q2.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the quarterly club
I'm ready to
quota,
expand to a new club.
Me too. I think Celeste is, for those of us based in Chicago.
Yes. For the locals.
Celeste is a standby. I think Celeste is one of the bars or clubs in River North that I will go to.
Yeah.
Period. Not to sound like I won't. I mean, no, I won't go to other clubs in River North. Actually, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take a totally hard stance there. But I think trying to find other clubs that are like dancey and fun like that. So if you have any suggestions to your general public audience, the Gen Pop
suggestion box,
Gen Pop, you like drop them in the comment. I don't know how you do that.
Email me.
just a list of clubs.
Literally,
I would actually go to every single one. I would follow the list religiously. But yeah, no, we did hit quarterly club night, and what they don't tell you about quarterly club night, fiscally, you can only do it once a quarter.
No, she's draining the bank account.
You can only do it once a quarter.
I do feel like I forgot how expensive it was there, and like you can't even get a glass of water, which I'm kind of like, that is actually
it's low grade torture.
Like, I think water is a public good. I think you should just be able to get it for
even
free.
In Chicago, where it's like laced with lead. It's
give me some.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
There are 95 people on the third floor, Celeste. Everyone, nobody's dancing. Everyone's just standing.
Yeah, I actually had major beef with that.
Super big bone to pick.
Yeah.
Super big bone to pick. Because it's like, when I'm out here, at least people are dancing. Like in our neighborhood, it's like people are boogieing.
Yeah.
But it's almost like people were just like standing and like perceiving one another.
I know.
And
I felt like we went on a night
fine.
when it was like drawing a crowd that perhaps had no rhythm.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, that's no one's fault but their own.
So true.
And I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, I think and even like the not even just like the espresso martini and the fancy cocktail drinks.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting like, okay, like those are cocktail drinks that are expensive. Like a well drink will be like, and I always specify well. They're always like, oh, tequila soda, do you want like, like Patron? I'm like,
so true. I should start doing that.
I'm like, well, tequila.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at me. I was like,
I have no morals. I am not standing on a higher ground.
I mean, I think morals is more of a caveat. I do not have a distinguished palate for tequila.
So fair.
If I'm asking you for tequila soda, I'm asking you because I just simply want to feel something.
then that is so
not because I necessarily have like a palate.
Let the people live.
Let me. I just want a little bit of boogie juice, and I just want to dance it out. But yeah, no, that was $17 too.
Yeah, that's madness. I do feel like, yeah.
I was like, that's soda water and like Kimador.
I do feel like I was drinking vodka sodas all night, and I remember waking up to my bank account the next morning and kind of being like, okay, ouch, that hurts.
Totally. And so that's honestly on supporting your local dive bar.
So true.
Because what you can get at your local dive bar,
a beautiful thing.
Unbelievable.
Really something.
The vibes, always incredible.
Like, honestly, so much better.
You can play your own music on TouchTunes.
So true.
Amazing most of the time.
I know.
Depending on who's controlled TouchTunes.
So true. There's always some give and take there.
Totally. But that's honestly, that's on the tete-a-tete.
It's the beauty of the thing.
You gotta fight for it. You gotta fight for your right.
It does make it all the more worthwhile.
But yeah, no, I do feel like, and we were talking about this, but like coming up on summer, it's like,
oh my gosh,
what do we fiscally do to prepare?
That is so true.
Fiscally,
I need to start saving
energetically.
Now. Yeah, I do feel like I did my resting. Like winter's over. Hopefully I'm all set in that arena. But at the same time, I did my resting, but now I need to figure out a way to like work less and play more. I need to invite play into my life.
Totally. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
No, yeah, I think that, obviously none of us want to work.
Yeah, it's actually kind of the worst thing in the world. Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, if you can afford not to have a job,
please don't get one.
Oh boy, do I recommend that you don't have a job.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, it's just, I feel like summer is always like this like big expansive thing, and I like have to like,
I know,
get up to it. But then I'm like, I'm out pretty much, I'm like doing something every night of the week anyway, but it's just like, I'm not like outside romping around.
There is something different about that.
And it's like being outdoors is like,
yeah,
like my functional medicine doctor told
100%.
me. I've recently, for those of you unaware what functional medicine is, it's basically medicine that your insurance doesn't cover.
Love.
It's a doctor that you can go to.
Brilliant invention.
It's a doctor you can go to and your insurance will say, no.
Totally.
Nice
try, Missy.
Nope. You're trying to do preventative health? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But my functional medicine doctor, Tim, was giving me all these supplements. He was like, and then today he told me, he's like, you gotta go outside more. He's like, most people, he's like 120 minutes a week is what you need. And I was like, okay. That's actually doable. 120 minutes is not doable, but it's also not nothing when it's cold.
I will say I am not hitting that quota.
Totally. And I was like, does that count? I asked him a question that he was like, he kind of looked at me and he was like, I was like, what about like walks between bars? And he was like,
that's something.
He was like,
come on, Tim.
He's like, you are outside. I was like, I am outside.
What about when you're standing in line to get into the next place?
I was like, what about when I'm in line for the Whistler? No. He's like, absolutely not. He's like, just like surrounded by like Parliament smoke. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's true. That's not fresh air. That air is a little bit stagnant.
That air has been used.
That air has been used before. But I was like, okay, 120 minutes. And he's like, you should meditate 10 minutes a day. And I was like, okay. I was like, so
you're kind of checking all the boxes here, Tim.
I was like, okay. And then he told me that I should buy a grounding pad.
That one is kind of where you lost me, to be honest, because that to me is sort of like, okay,
it's where you lost me too. Totally.
We're getting a little bit.
So basically,
that's placebo.
From what I've gathered, there are negative ions in the ground, and like I'm open to the fact that this is probably real. Like our oceans are unexplored. Like I maybe
100%.
I just don't know if. So basically, you can buy the. Step one is you just go outside, you put your feet on the ground, and that's apparently good for you.
That feels real.
Maybe not on the sidewalk.
Right.
Probably in grass. Maybe not in like the park though, because dog shit, but like somewhere where you have grass. Somewhere safe. You have to vet a spot. Just like below marker in there. And but then don't like I like cordon it off. But then if you have no land, no property, no prospects, you can completely because you can basically buy a pad online that plugs into your wall and I guess grounds to the ground outside. And that's the point where I was in the conversation. He's like, oh yeah, I have one right under my desk, so like when I work from home I'm grounded. And I was kind of just like, I feel like that defeats the purpose.
I just kind of feel like that's one of those things. How are we connecting it to the ground outside?
There's levels to it. Yeah, I feel like I have so many follow-up questions.
And it's like, Tim, we live in a rental. We're just a couple of girls. We're living in rentals.
I can't put up a shelf.
No. Yeah.
I told you about my shelf. I bought this beautiful shelf for Facebook Marketplace.
I do remember the shelf.
So proud of myself. I lugged it like from freaking Grand all the way up to here.
Which is brave.
On the L, I looked like the crazy person on the L for once.
It's so good to sometimes step into that role.
Totally. And you're like, we're all mere footfalls. Mere footfalls from being the crazy person on the L.
So true.
And then I hung it up and I was like, man, this looks great. It looks awesome. And then I think I was out with you and I came back and you and James dropped me off at my place and the entire shelf had fallen.
And there she was.
And dented, got paint all over my floor. My whole wall was torn up.
God,
whole situation. And I was like, great. So we're never hanging anything ever again.
No, we don't stand a chance.
So that wall remains blank.
We're just girls.
That's... I'm just a person. I'm just a person standing in front of a wall,
honestly,
asking it to hold a shelf, and it was like no. So I was basically like, I don't know how much of that I can accomplish in terms of the grounding thing. I was like, also, if I buy one more thing off the internet,
I know
my credit card's gonna come back and slap me in the face.
I know. I am kind of waiting for mine to scream at me the next time I open my wallet.
So I think we're going on walks and we're breathing, like diaphragm breathing is what he said.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that works.
Have you ever tried meditating before?
I have. I've cycled through a couple of free memberships on apps until they become paid, and then just have not wanted to pay for them.
Yeah.
I find that having to be on my phone to meditate is super icky.
Yeah.
I really
just feel backwards, doesn't it?
It feels like,
doesn't it, babes?
It's like listen to this little voice in your phone telling you to relax, even though this phone is the thing that is the source of all evil. And that just seems
so ominous.
Goofy.
I know.
Yeah.
I honestly never really tried. I know that it's supposed to be so good for you. I like genuinely don't know if I could do it in just like plain old silence.
Yeah, I think that it's I'll report back. I've tried it a couple times. Honestly, I just get like very sleepy. And
that's not so bad.
And I'm like, I guess it's like if you're trying to go to sleep, great. But if you're like, my guy was telling me like, oh, meditate in the middle of the day.
Sure.
And I was like,
and it's like, okay, so I'm going to lay myself down for a nap.
I was like, that's called an adult nap. I was like, I'm not against that. I love that.
100%.
I was like, if you're telling me clinically,
totally,
I have to take a nap, I will bring that doctor shit to my boss.
No, like, can we get that in writing, please?
I'd be like, actually, siesta time for sure.
Yeah.
But no,
there was something to be said about that.
Europe. There's something to be said about Europe.
I know.
Honestly.
It's looking better and better every day.
They're not doing it all right, but they're definitely not doing it all wrong.
Yeah, I think we might be doing worse.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We're at any given moment. I
actually have this worse. I follow this girl on TikTok who her whole TikTok thing is she's American. She lived in Europe for a while, married a European man. Now they moved back to the United States and she's just like calling out all the things that completely suck about it here. And I'm like, okay, well, this is so much fun content for me to consume and think about how much I fucking hate my country.
Yeah, that's a lot because it's like, why didn't she just, if she married a European, I mean,
like literally stay. I know. She was like,
it seems like I'm like frowny face.
Why it seems like you kind of like did the whole thing. Like you can stay there.
It's like, did you come back to make content?
I think that she came back to make money. Because I will say it sounds like you get paid a lot more here, but she was like, but now I'm kind of like at what cost? Like I'm working so hard.
And you're making content, which is objectively horrific.
100%.
So hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
Like
and then scrutinized on the internet.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, no, to be in the comments section of any given TikTok at any given time is terrifying.
Especially on TikTok. No other platforms' comment sections are quite as crazy.
They go so hard.
Yeah.
They go so hard, so unnecessarily.
I know.
And I'm really not, it feels like the sweet underbelly
100%
of the internet. I know that's probably Reddit or like the dark web, but
and even like YouTube has some of that. But
for
TikTok,
normies, it feels like for Gen Pop, Gen Z Gen Pop, that feels like ground zero for like weirdness.
Comments can get hundreds of thousands of likes and like replies. That's crazy. Because I feel like it's almost like Twitter in that way, where even if you're not making the videos, being a funny person in the comments is also like kind of like
is everything. God, everyone just wants to be a star.
Oh my God, I know.
Everyone wants to be a star.
It is crazy.
I think I would be genuinely the worst famous person.
No, same.
I think I'd be so bad at it.
No, and it's actually like, I think it'd be really bad. I think it'd be awful.
I think it'd be bad. Well, because like I was watching an interview. I really want to see that new Kristen Stewart movie,
Yes.
Love Lies Bleeding.
So do I. haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet. Her hair is incredible in it. I think she looks gorgeous.
She's literally so amazing and hot and cool.
Yeah. Well, and so I've really loved her press outfits. And so, but I was watching an interview with her, and so there were all these comments about how like she's like a bad personality and like blah blah blah. And I was like, this would be me.
I know.
I'm like, this is live actual footage of me doing potentially in another universe a video. Because like literally even one of my clients, I was at an event the other day, he like he sent me photos, like their DJs, and like I was like by the booth like and giving like art direction to our photographer, and there are a couple shots of my face, Sam, that like
just a little RBF. It's no biggie.
He zoomed and sent me a screenshot of my face, and I look furious.
And these things happen.
Like no, like so mad. And he's like, genuinely, he's like, did you have a good time? And I was like,
you're like,
I had a
I'm having
great
so
time.
much fun right
I was
now.
like, you literally just can't tell because like that's the way that my face looks.
Yeah.
And I think that in a famous person is either like,
well, I think that they would fix that.
Or I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Like, what's like Ozempic for like your face configuration? I guess that's Botox, actually. Totally.
100%.
Actually, that's Botox. They Botox my face into like a less...
They're giving you some filler to make you look happy all the time.
I'm like... yeah, that's... No, I genuinely, I think like... Not that I have an off-putting personality, but like I just don't think I'm made for public consumption.
No, and I don't think I'd be cut out for it is the thing.
I think I'm really good at like sorting things behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I think I could be like someone's graphic designer, which totally you're like, oh my god, you're in
oh my god, so you're like literally doing
you're
amazing.
living your dream. I just don't think, and so I feel bad when people are like and that's the thing is like I'm in the TikTok comments feeling bad for people.
Oh my god, I know, same.
And I'm kind of like, this is not empathy well spent, I don't think. Like it's not like,
I know, that is so
like,
true.
It's just not like the person put out this video, the person's commenting like, it's literally nothing to do with you. You have no control. Like,
it is crazy that we do that to ourselves. The amount of things that I consume, it is not normal to have these feelings towards a bunch of strangers.
Yeah. And that's why I think I deleted TikTok off my phone just because I was like,
oh my God, I'm so jealous and proud of you. And I should probably do that too.
I should throw my phone in the ocean. I think like Michigan is calling a sweet siren song for my phone. Just because I'm over it.
I know.
I'm like, get me a carrier pigeon, write me a letter. Like I just Luddite energy. Like I just don't care.
I can't tell what it is right now that's making me so sick of being so online all the time. Because I'm like a chronically online person.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be.
I feel like I've been that way like my whole life. But I don't know if it's just that everything fucking sucks right now.
Big true.
Or like it's because I'm a working person and work also requires me to be online. I can't tell like what is the driving factor between me and like just absolutely hating it so much, but I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, I think that it's probably, and it's honestly just like, I think like ever since the pandemic, like I'm just like stressed online. And I guess like I've always been stressed online, but I think like I was spending so much time, like I was just working and like, you know, we were all just like on our phones during the pandemic, like, you know, just
that's
like
all
this.
you could do.
And it's like that kind of never went away because there was always so much news to consume, and now there's like everything, like, and like work is on there and like Zoom meetings and like also, so it's just kind of like when I close my little laptop, I'm like, I close my work laptop and I'm like, do I open my fun laptop, like my personal laptop? Like
how depressing is that?
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, no, I guess I'll just like take a walk.
No, I know. I'm like, should I sit alone with my thoughts?
Totally. No, Colin sent me something the other day. Colin, friend of the pod.
Yes, friend of the pod.
They sent me something the other day that was like, it was a TikTok and it was like, oh, my favorite thing to do after work is to do, you know, big screen and then slightly smaller screen and then smallest screen. That way that no thought has a chance to get in. And I was kind of like,
slip on in there.
I was like, totally.
No, like that is sort of the
I hate
blessing
being
and curse of man.
So seen by a TikTok. I to be fully perceived by a TikTok is like, totally.
I know. And it's like, am I really that simple? But the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. The answer is we're all literally just humans playing with technology that is not meant for us.
Seriously.
We were flying too close to the sun.
I know.
So yeah, I'm really excited for our eventual downfall into tomato farming. I think that'll be great.
Sounds fucking awesome.
That'll be awesome. I've decided that I'm going to get a 5-gallon bucket for I don't have a back porch, to be clear.
So fair.
I have a landing.
A little something.
I have a wood landing, and my neighbor has taken to, this is the strangest thing, lives above me, kind of gives me like frat energy. Never seen them.
Okay.
But always plays like very electronic music like Friday nights. Like I'll be getting
always a good sign.
Getting ready to go out, and it's a lot of like thumping.
Mm-hmm.
Has a tendency to smoke a cigarette, which whatever, like live, laugh, love.
Choose your vice.
Choose your vice. We've all got them. But we'll smoke a cigarette and then toss it, which is, again, I would love if you used an ashtray, but also like not my ministry, whatever. But we'll only smoke half of it.
Interesting.
Like we'll smoke like kind of sometimes less than half.
And just pitch it over the side.
And then I'll go down to do my laundry, and there'll be like 10 quarter smoked cigarettes.
Oh, that's so interesting, because it's kind of like you're throwing away a very expensive habit
Totally.
that you have.
And it's like,
you're burning money, honey.
I'm kind of just like, well, it's kind of frustrating. I'm kind of like, just put it out a little bit and then set it aside. Yeah, like
she's not going anywhere.
Again, we're returning to the fiscal responsibility part of the podcast, in which I'm like, sir,
honestly,
you don't have to live like this.
So true.
But I'm going to do a little 5-gallon tomato bucket on my landing where the cigarettes are. Hopefully the tomatoes won't get singed.
Hopefully they play nice together. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, there's all sorts of stuff. I mean, I'm still in the raccoon apartment that I mentioned last time.
Okay,
or the raccoon.
So true.
The
that
raccoon.
was on this pod.
Yep. To remind listeners, if you haven't heard the last episode, there was a raccoon that was chasing tenants for several blocks,
which is actually insane.
Insane. It's not great.
He hasn't come back.
I have never seen the man.
Okay.
I have no man, woman, fast, they, them, raccoon. 100%. I have never encountered them. But yeah, I know that there's evil.
Honestly,
lurking in the alley.
There's a mystery afoot.
But yeah, no, still that same apartment. So still not like a super high quality situation, but we're gonna take what we can get.
And sometimes that's what you have to do.
And honestly, in terms of what you're getting on Zillow, crazy right now. Crazy.
We're making lemonade, folks.
We're making lemonade. We're making like barely lemonade.
Yeah, we're kind of just having a little bit of lemon juice, but it's all good. A
little lemon juice watered down with water.
Yeah.
And like maybe a little sprinkle of cayenne, because you're like, healthy goop.
Yes, so true.
You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna cleanse.
And
delusional.
Literally. Which we were saying earlier, like being delusional is honestly the best way to get through life. I think that it's really one of life's biggest necessities.
I walk such a fine line with that, because I'm like delusional, but also like I want to feel somewhat ankered, but also every time I'm anchored, I'm like, whew.
It's really scary.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to be this in it.
I will say it kind of sucks, because being like honestly an even remotely intelligent person is really just the worst thing in the world. I am like, I wish that I had absolutely no thoughts going on up here. I wish I didn't have to consider anything. I wish I didn't have to really ponder things. I wish I didn't have to take any responsibility for any of my actions. Like, I just wish that I could gallop through life
like a little Shetland pony.
Yes.
You want the Shetland pony lifestyle?
It would be gorgeous.
Yeah, no, that would be objectively really nice.
Because I'm over here stopping myself from doing things because I have to think through the consequences.
And that's just no way to live.
And it's like, okay, this means I'm not going to leave my house. It means I'm not going to buy the stuff.
You're like, I'm living in moderation, and it's crazy.
And it's so boring and lame.
Yeah. You're like, where's the excess? Where's the $17 espresso martinis that I ordered?
100%.
That is objectively 17 times 7 is, I can't do that math in my head, but it is so much.
Space.
It is so much money.
It is. Some of you guys might be able to do that calculation, and you
drop what 17 times 7 is in the comments.
Literally help a girl out.
I need like Muzzy. Like did Muzzy teach math? I don't think so. I think it was Muzzy. If there's a Muzzy for math though, that should be your next sponsor.
I feel like Muzzy taught me like German or something.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I just remember loving the graphics of Muzzy.
No,
and loving the visuals.
Yes.
Not clearly what Muzzy said did not.
Perhaps because it was in German.
I'm like, Muzzy taught math, right?
I swear Muzzy was teaching me German.
Totally.
We're gonna have to look back at that one.
And the funny part is it's neither math nor German.
Yeah, right.
Some secret terrible third thing.
Literally. Muzzy would. Sneaky guy. Okay, well, should we get into your good, bad, ugly?
Oh my god, yeah, I wrote it down. Oh my god, I was so overwhelmed by being given a task.
I know, right? I'm like, do your homework before this podcast.
I know. I do have good ones though.
I'm so excited because honestly, when I was developing this, not to say that you're also a pessimistic person, but maybe to say that a little bit.
Totally.
In the sense that I knew you were gonna have a really good one.
I think I just. Yeah.
You tell it like it fucking is.
I'm not gonna mince words. How about that? No, and I think that, I mean, just as someone who takes a CTA every day, we could just do a CTA good badly. Like,
no, that's so true.
But yeah, so do I do all three first? Is that the situation?
Yeah, you can kind of say you're good first. We'll chat about it, and then we'll go from there.
Amazing. So my good is Sunday evening at Jeongbu Market.
And that is so real. In fact, I can taste it now.
Totally. Jeongbu, again, for the locals, is a Korean grocery store right off the Belmont stop, actually. Yep. I take a bus to get there, but it's right off the Belmont stop on the Blue Line. And it is just the most delightful grocery store experience. They recently opened one in Schaumburg.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. It's massive,
like
right?
A super Jeongbu. It is
I have to see that.
Massive. I think you and James and I should go on a field trip.
That sounds really fun.
Unbelievable. I'm a card carrying rewards member now at Jeongbu, which, you know, like some people have those like really fancy credit cards where you like tap them and it sounds like metal.
Yeah.
It's like I roll up to dinner. It's like, you have the metal credit card, but you know what I've got, girl? Got that Jeongbu.
And I keep that thing.
I got that Jeongbu rewards member card. At one point in time, you will be getting kimchi for free.
Literally.
In 6 to 8 months, maybe, but at one point in time. And yeah, I just go, they were playing like ABBA last time I was there. Like,
they do know how to curate a fantastic
The soundtrack is always amazing. The produce is always fresh.
Yes.
I usually go on like Sunday afternoons or evenings, and it is just like, it's a palate cleanser.
They have sushi grade salmon.
They have literally a cafeteria, like pre-made food.
I still haven't gotten the hot food.
Amazing. Also good. They also have like housewares, like a bunch of stuff in my house is like dishes and spoons and stuff from them.
That's dope.
I just cannot recommend enough. I've also had their sake, which is really good.
That's cool.
Just kind of a one-stop shop, and it's just like perfect.
I know. It really is
a perfect place.
And it's like, well, because they have that little window. I think in the summer they put tables out and stuff too, don't they?
I think so. Yeah.
It would be so fun to like go there, grab some stuff to make food, and then do a little dinner date. That'd be so fun. We should do that.
What are you doing tomorrow? No, I can't.
Literally.
I mean, yes, in the near future. Yeah. Literally, of course. It's seriously. I also, bang for your buck, I'm also a big Tony's girl, but Tony's is like a walk from me. There's not really like a bus. I mean, there is a bus situation, but the bus is always late, and so I have been a Jeongbu girl for a while now.
That's dope.
And I just like, I love it. It's so great.
Well, I feel like Asian inspired cuisine in general is just like, you can't go wrong.
I mean, it's delicious every time. I could eat it every day for the rest of my life.
Those flavors,
every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like making pickled everything. Like, I have like ginger in my fridge all the time. I just like, and it's like, it's affordable. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Crying in H Mart, and the way that she writes about food.
Oh my god,
I'm literally drooling. Like, so good.
I remember I like met her. I like went to. I think I told you. Right. I went to her like book signing, and it's like one of my favorite books. And like I was a caregiver for a while, and so like a lot of me resonated with that book.
Totally.
And I just remember meeting her. I met her at the Music Box Theater, and there is a photo of me because they like take your picture, right? And you go up to. I just like immediately start sobbing, like immediately, like, because I love her music, and like I love her fashion and like as a person, but like she was such a big part of like my like caregiving experience.
Totally.
And like I just like immediately, and this photo is so, it like has not seen the light of day. I was like
so wholesome,
it's like a private memory. But yeah, like every time I go to like H Mart or Jeongbu, I like think of the way that she like writes about food. I think that it's actually being adapted for a film, and she's like directing it. So
oh my god, that's so cool.
So yeah, no, I'm
glad she'll have like some creative control.
No, absolutely. I think she's doing all the casting too.
That is so sick.
But yeah, every time I go to Jeongbu, it's just kind of like a return to like center. It's like whatever
honestly,
like weird club antics you got into over the weekend, whatever. Maybe you paid $17 for an espresso martini. Maybe you didn't. Yeah. But those are within the walls of Jungbu. Those secrets are safe.
So fair.
So
yeah, fuck touching grass. Just go to the Jungbu.
I mean,
who needs a grounding mat?
There kind of aren't. Yeah, there's no green space. It's like right off the highway.
Yeah, no, like
it's absolutely right.
They
off
actually
the
have an insane when you're on the highway, like their giant Jungbu sign. I'm like, okay, I'm glad that they're really getting their money's worth out of that sign.
No, and then there is also, I don't think in a different part of the burbs, I'm not sure where, but there's a Jungbu like warehouse.
Oh shit.
Which I'm kind of like, I know that's like probably restaurant grade.
Yeah.
But I also would just love to go to see like,
honestly,
is there a kimchi jar that I could fit my body in?
That'd be fucking sick.
Is there life after death? Maybe. Maybe.
Bury me in the kimchi
It's
jar.
like I don't want to be cremated. I don't want to be, buried. I
want to be pickled.
Pickle me. Ferment my body. Pickle me, I dare
honestly,
you.
Well, that is an amazing good. I agree.
That's the good. Yeah, so like Sunday evenings, it's a date. Like let's go.
Music to my ears.
My bad is the Christian guy who stands at the corner of my studio. I actually am not sure what denomination he is. The very religious man.
Yeah.
I think he said he was Christian actually, so I think we can say that. So he stands at the corner.
You sort of have to assume.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I am making no denominational assumptions on the record. He basically stands at the corner right by my studio, and the other day I was working and I had the windows open, and he just screams about God. Like, and you know what? Like, honestly, like if you were, no, actually I was gonna benefit of a doubt, but I've just,
no,
it's
because
just
here's
like,
the thing. If you're any other religion, honestly, you don't stick it in other people's face the way that Christians seem to love to do.
Well, and like that's the thing is like it was so there's no narrative, honestly, which is what bothered me. I was kind of like, okay, if you're gonna tell me a story, tell me a story. Like tell me the Noah's Ark thing, tell me like whatever. And he's just screaming at people at the sidewalk, and he's like, ma'am, do you believe in Jesus?
Right.
And I'm like, I was walking by him, and
who's to say?
I was walking by, and then he goes, well, Jesus can cure your depression.
Okay, well, bold of you to assume I'm depressed. You're right, but
I was like, bold of you to assume that this woman with bangs and these Doc Martens and this all black outfit is clinically depressed. I think that might be you jumping to a conclusion.
Yeah, sir. To assume is to make an ass out of you and me, as they say.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But that's not the point.
Not at all.
No, so he said that, and then he was like, do you believe in Jesus? Like, do you believe that you can be saved? And I'm like, not really. And then he like kind of went off, and I just kept walking because that's like kind of, but then he kept like talking to other people, and he's like, if you're suicidal, like this can change. And it's like, I'm like, sir,
you screaming at me on the street corner is not really helping the situation.
Well, then like, and they were giving out like free Bibles, and I was like, totally. I was like, people don't need SSRIs. They need to read a book.
Yeah. An ancient text.
Totally. I'm like, sir, you're doing more harm than good right now.
I know.
And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, it gets past a certain hour at the studio and he's all you hear. And it's just
that
like,
completely blows.
It's just sort of like, totally.
Well, it's like, sir, are you putting in a full shift in out there? Because what is going on? Are you getting paid for this? How do you support this little passion project?
It's that, and it's also on that same corner, it's always also frequented by like the ACLU, which I know you've touched on.
Yeah, love those guys, but
love the ACLU and
can't escape them.
And the what's the one for the ASPCA?
Yes,
a guy. I was getting lunch the other day, and a guy from the ASPCA came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And he's like, "I love your glasses. You look like a creative director." And I was like,
"Okay."
I was like,
sneak your way on in. Why don't you?
I was like, sure, flatter me. Why don't you? I was like, actually, no. I was like, actually, I'm an art director. We actually got into a whole thing I showed in my portfolio. No. And I was like, yeah, okay, what? And I that's the thing is I'm too nice. Is like I will engage in the conversation. And he was like, oh, he's like, what do you do? And I was like, I know what this is coming from, but again, like I am the fool. And I was like, oh, I'm a designer. I'm just like on my lunch break. I was like, I have a meeting in a couple minutes. I gotta go.
Yeah.
And he was like, totally. He's like, it only takes 5 minutes or like 30 seconds to like save animals' lives. He's like, do you like animals? And I was like, yeah, of course I like animals.
I'm not an insane person.
Of course I like animals. I was like, I don't know, like I'm not a serial killer. Like, what do you like? Of course I like it. And he's like, well, he's like, for $1 a day. And I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, look, sir. And I was like, I have a meeting. I have to go. And he's like, well, if I wasn't pushy, like no one would ever sign up for this. And I'm kind of like,
take that up with somebody else.
No, I don't.
I know.
I don't. I also learned that. So you know how at the grocery store, like at Tony's, for example, they'll ask you to round up $1
Yep.
or $2. That money goes to their tax write-off.
What?
I'm like almost positive. Actually, that might be fake news. I'm pretty sure. I'm like spreading fake news.
Oh, hilarious. Somebody fact check.
We will confirm that.
Wait, that's actually insane. Like the Tony's tax write-off.
So I'm pretty sure grocery stores can like, because it's technically a donation.
They're the ones
but
donating.
you're not writing it off. They are.
Okay, that's actually complete bullshit.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% sure that's true.
Yeah,
I will follow up. I will follow up with the confirmation. But I'm pretty sure I saw that on TikTok.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Right? And so it's like if you're going to donate money. Absolutely. Donate money all day long.
Yes.
Like to worthy causes.
But
like
do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like make sure that you're not like funding or lining someone else's tax
Honestly,
write-offs. That's crazy.
that is really crazy. That actually does make a lot of sense, though. I
think that is true. I'm hesitant to say it's 100% true, but I'm like pretty sure it's true.
We can go with like a safe 95.
A tight 95. But yeah, no. So that's. I mean, Zhongbu has never asked me to donate anything,
So true.
and that's how you know they're real.
And that is like why it's the best place on earth.
That's why it's where dreams come true.
We're just paying the employees.
Exactly. Okay, and then my ugly, which I had to think about for a minute. Again, my functional medicine Dr. Tim, as we all know him, love him. He has me on a ton of supplements. Like apparently I did like this whole blood test and he was like, oh, all of the problems you talked about reflected in this little blood sample. And I was like, awesome, that means it's like easy to fix. He's like, yeah, it'll take 3 to 6 months.
Music to my ears,
and
Tim.
I'm like, awesome. So Q4 of this year is about to be my come up.
It's so hard to be alive.
And he's like, well, your levels don't get low that fast. He's like, so they don't go up that fast. And I was like, that's a sneaky way of telling me that I should take better care of myself.
We're killing ourselves slowly.
I was like, totally. So anyway, I'm taking now like 12 little supplements every morning.
We've all been there. In fact, that is the wonderful thing about turning. It's like as soon as you hit 25, you're like, supplement game.
Well, and it's like you can ignore it. You can ignore the fact that you should be taking supplements or vitamins. Or you can pay even a little bit of attention and then pay like $175 for supplements. So I was part of the former and now I'm part of the latter.
Such a delicate balance.
It's a delicate ecosystem. But so my thing is like I'll be rushing out the door in the morning to like get to the office, get to the studio, and I'll be like, oh shit, I have to take like 12 of these things. And so
just 12 horse pills.
Just 12 horse pills. And so, you know, you take all them all and then like I'll get that like weird like supplement mouth where you feel like you haven't like fully like, or I don't know, you haven't like fully swallowed something, or like you took them with coffee or something and they're like dissolved.
I know, it's so bad.
And I'll be on the blue line, which is like fine, whatever. It is what it is. It's a means to an end. You're on the blue line with like a supplement with like a mouthful of like friggin' like turmeric powder, and you're just like your like tongue is stained. Like I get into the office, my tongue is like stained yellow, and I'm just like
such a clear picture.
Like, and it's just like body to body on the blue line. I feel like I'm coughing turmeric dust, like just like looking like an absolute crazy person.
Yeah.
Like, and some guys like take off your backpack so we can move in, and I'm just like I'm gonna throw up if you're
literally.
not careful. So that's been my personal cross to bear lately. And it's like maybe you drink, it doesn't matter how much water you drink sometimes you just roll the dice and the supplements are like,
seriously, not today, girl.
Not today
it is crazy because it just becomes like sawdust, a complete desert.
It's just like there's got to be an easier way.
I know
there's got to be a better way.
And it's one of those things too where when I do take my supplements in the morning, that's actually the most water I've probably had in several days.
You're like, oh my god, 8 ounces of water, crazy. You're like, that's insane.
Who knew? But then my entire mouth dries the fuck out.
Yeah, no,
it's wild.
And it's almost like that would be the prompt to drink more water.
I know. It's so funny how you have to trick yourself into these things. Well, and then ridiculous. On top of that, I don't know if this happens to you, but my supplements make me burp.
Oh, I get like just like I get the tight feeling in my chest, and then I get like every once in a while, like I'll get like a random, like literally I will feel like a train, like a train with steam, just like a little like boop, of turmeric.
Totally.
Like, ah!
I know, it is kind of like what could possibly be going on in here.
The delicate ecosystem has been disrupted, but yours make you burp.
Yeah, they make me burp in a way that is so disturbing. Like I don't think that I'm someone who I'm not like, confident about my output of gas.
And honestly, who is?
No, and
who
like
could be in this economy?
Well, and so like I try to keep that so under wraps, but then if I have them like in a work setting or something, I'm like, this is so fucking embarrassing.
Totally. And what are you gonna do? Suffer silently with vitamin dust in your lungs? And that's kind of the thing is like I'm supposed to go about my little life like this.
Seriously, I'm supposed to execute a morning commute.
Yeah, no, and you just
Hell on earth.
you get off at the division stop, and it's just like it's too much. It's too much. Honestly, that and the CTA crowding in the morning is like.
I will say I don't miss that about going into the office.
It's always just like there's a sense of camaraderie, but there's a much deeper sense of mutual hate.
Totally,
there's
so
a
true.
Much deeper sense
That's
of like
the beauty of public transit.
These people would not.
Yeah.
They would not just even. They would high five you if you were drowning.
Yeah, so true.
And that is on the good of fellow individuals.
It was actually really funny because I jumped on the Blue Line recently, and I felt like I hadn't been on it in a while. I had been very much on my bus game, and so I'm like, have I forgotten all of the etiquette of riding the Blue Line? I was like, do I look at people? Where do I stand? I was like, I'm feeling so awkward right now.
Everyone is always looking at their little phones.
Yeah.
There's always that. Everyone is always looking at their little phones. Yeah, sometimes a man made like disturbing amounts of eye contact with me the other day. And I was kind of just like,
criminal. Please don't ever.
It's just like, look, especially if you're a man.
I know.
And you're on the L. Look anywhere else. Look
anywhere
out the window.
else.
Look out the window.
Literally shut your eyes.
Look out the window. Take a little nap. Take a little nap.
If you're a man and you're riding the Blue Line, your eyes should be closed for the duration of the trip.
Look at your phone. Look out the window. Read a book. I did see someone reading like a very, very big hardcover. That's another one of my pet peeves though, is when people like during rush hour, not if you're like reading a book like on the train normally, but like if you are reading a book during rush hour and your hands are held out like this,
right? What are you trying to prove?
You're taking up the space of another human being
That's
who
so
needs
real.
to get to work. I'm like, girl, like, we get it, you read.
Leave the hardcovers at home.
We get it, you read. Like,
bring the Kindle or the paperback.
Just like, come on. It's like also like I don't care how long you're on the L, but like if you're only on for 4 stops, like are we really doing numbers here? Like are we
also in the middle of rush hour? There is no way you are, especially with all the crazy shit that happens on the Blue Line, you are not absorbing.
Doesn't your
the
tummy
words you are
hurt
reading.
too?
Yeah.
Doesn't your tummy hurt?
Are you like the rest of us?
Yeah, as a girl whose tummy hurts, doesn't your tummy hurt?
Right.
Like,
Who are you trying to fool?
Yeah, it feels like posturing a little bit, especially when it's like, like the guide to like in Logan, it's usually like the guide to like new socialism or like
100%.
the new rules of socialism, and I'm like, totally.
Yeah.
I'm like, totally.
Right. Are you using this to pick up chicks? What's the goal here?
I mean, ever since Hot Guys on the Subway was an Instagram account, I think we've given everyone the wrong idea.
I know, we've given them too much power.
We've given everyone entirely the wrong idea.
So true. It's also the guys who'll be reading the book, but then they have their elbows on their knees. And they're like bent over, and it's like that could be a whole person could be standing there.
It's honestly just like, yeah, like everyone needs to learn to optimize for public transit space, and I really believe that should be a class in high school.
Honestly,
enough
so true. Learn
geometry,
how to take up as little space as possible.
Enough with geometry. You got to learn how to fold yourself into a ball on the L.
So true. These are real world skills.
Honestly, that and like how to like pay your taxes without TurboTax. Yeah,
I know. That is something that I am going to try and do this year. I haven't done it yet.
So brave.
I've never done non-TurboTax, but I was kind of like, of all the times in my life, I don't have property, I don't have dependents. This is the easiest my taxes are ever going to be.
Your kids are sitting here like, you don't have dependents, girl.
Yeah, I mean, he did cost me $4,000 this year, but
and that's a write-off. No, if you made your
business.
If you had a Instagram page and you were making money.
Damn, that is actually so fucking true.
That could be right off. Honestly,
it's time for you to get famous, son.
It's time. I mean, honestly, there are so many Instagram.
I follow several cats on Instagram.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do.
Because how else am I supposed to find
amongst
joy?
The little terrors, you gotta have a little treat.
So true.
But yeah, that's the taxes of it all.
Scary stuff.
Scary stuff.
And it's like definitely something I want to do this year because TikTok is telling me that you should really be doing it for free.
I mean, you should be doing a lot of stuff. I mean, we should all just be walking. If that's the logic, no one should have a car. No one should be taking the L.
So true.
We should all just be.
We should just moseying
taking our little foot bus.
Honestly,
be taking a little foot bus, dilly-dallying, never getting anywhere on time.
Yeah.
Like, in a perfect world, totally.
That would be nice.
But no, unfortunately, I do. Unfortunately, my job wants me places at certain times, which is crazy.
I know, it's kind of criminal behavior, these expectations that they have for us. Well, before we wrap up, I want to know, is your hater mode activated today?
My hater mode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is that, like, specifically?
Like, are you feeling like a hater today?
I feel like yesterday I was in hater mode.
Okay.
Yesterday was fully Monday. Like, I saw...
Monday does bring about...
Like, I saw Jesus guy,
hater.
like, screaming on the street, like, during the studio. Like, I was, like... I didn't, like, make a lunch. I forgot my cup of coffee. Like, yesterday was hater mode. Today was, like, we're releasing the world of its ails mode.
Okay.
Which is way less catchy. But, like, I think...
That's okay.
I think today was a lot of, like,
I think that's healthy.
I do have to take my little supplements. I do have to do my little job. I do have to do this, that, and the other thing. And then it's like...
Sometimes you do just kind of have to throw your hands up.
And, yeah. And totally. And, like, it's being a hater is exhausting.
I know, it really is.
Being a hater is...
You're telling me.
Being a hater is exhausting. And it's, like, I think it's, like situational, too.
For sure.
But I do think that, like, yesterday I was like, I almost went too hard in the paint with being, like, completely over everything.
Totally.
And so today I was sort of like...
I honestly think that I was completely over everything until dinner time and you showed up at my house.
Oh, I will say so my mom gave me this advice. She was like, because I was having a bad day yesterday. She's like, have a little piece of chocolate.
That's so real.
Make sure that you're, like, drinking water. Classic. Which is, like, such mom advice, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And I like went and I bought a little treat, and I did have a little bit of water, and I, like, you know,
there's nothing that a little treat can't fix.
I made sure to get, like, I laid in, like, the sun in the studio, and I was like, okay. I was like, I am. And then, you know, I came here, James made me, like, a very wonderful, nutritious dinner.
I will say he did kind of slay in the kitchen.
I was like, I actually kind of want that recipe. It's crazy.
Oh my God, of course.
But I do feel like so much of hater mode is situational. Not to get, like, woo-woo. But,
no,
like,
it's so true.
But it's
That's
like
Tim speaking.
But that is my functional medicine doctor on the mic. No, but it's like, okay, like, are you really setting yourself up for success? And honestly, my answer 9 times out of 10 is no.
Oh my God, I know. It's like the self-sabotage of it all.
But it's like, okay, it's like if you go through the checklist of, like, have you drank enough water? Are you hungry? Like, have you, like, been outside? Like, you know, have you talked to a person today?
Have you done your little photosynthesis?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you do kind of have to run through the checklist. And then if you're still being a hater, that's your God-given right.
And that is so
true. And
true.
even Jesus guy would say
and don't let anybody take that away from you. That's so real. Well, thank you for coming on this pod.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's a
always
pleasure
so
to be
fun.
back. Absolutely.
We'll have to do it again soon.
Absolutely, for a Jungbu date. Next time I'll be Jungbu.
Oh my God, so good. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back again next week. Talk to you then. Bye. And that's a wrap. I had fun. How about you? As always, thank you for living, laughing, loving, and most importantly, listening to my podcast. Want to stay in the loop? You can find us at Pessimistic at Best on Instagram, or if it's me you're looking for, that'll be at Sam Georgeson on all platforms. Don't forget to rate and review the show, and if bonus content is your thing, you can gain access to extra episodes by joining our Patreon. The link is in our show notes. And last but certainly not least, shout out to James for being the brains behind this operation. Couldn't do it without you, honey. Okay, see you next week.